New training cycle, 8 weeks starting December 9th, February 2nd. This training cycle is called the general cycle. We've just come off the back of what we had as the captain cycle, which was a 6-week training block. And now, as we head over the Christmas, New Year period, we really ramp up towards the CrossFit season. We start kind of piecing together those little nuances or combinations that we typically see across the Open, quarterfinals, semi-finals. Just as a little macro breakdown of what we've kind of just come from, we had more of a concurrent styled training basis where we had specific running sessions, lifting sessions solo, gymnastics sessions solo. But now in this general cycle, we kind of mesh it all back together into mixed modal or traditional Metcon based training. It is a training cycle where everything is touched on throughout the cycle, with probably more of a biases towards the specific CrossFit skills as well. So you think about strict handstand push-ups, legless rope climbs, ring muscle ups, all of those types of things that are going to either make you succeed or block you on a leaderboard. So that is really emphasized in this next 8-week cycle. And then probably more specific leg strength development, back squat conditioning. We have 10-minute EMOMs of those at certain reps and percentages. We have back squats twice per week, and then a perceived option of doing it a third time per week based on your weakness. Just some of the key highlights and focuses would also then be, we're doing our Olympic lifting from hang positions. What you would see from that is improved barbell speed, positioning, confidence in the pull phase, isolation of the movements from the pull or the hang, so you have to have preloaded tension before you move, explosiveness because you get a shorter range of motion for your movement target. And then a bonus is strengthened grip and posterior chain activation. Moving forward with our running, so like it's been an added layer. There is still a lot of running per week in this training cycle now, albeit you won't see running typically in a CrossFit Open, not at least in longer durations outside. Shuttle runs, yes. However, we are working on mixed modal running and Metcons anywhere between 1,200 meters to 2,000 meters. But then we have 1 to 2 optional runs in the week as well. One of those is based off of perceived weakness. The other is just there as a more mileage top-up and keeping that in the kind of bank there for anyone, even if you're a good runner. And those distances are about 4 to 5K or longer based on time. Grip development, look, if you want to get better gymnastics, you know, one of those key things or key functions is going to be grip development. So we have a lot of hanging, pulls, carries, strength training through the forearms, whether that's collar grip squeezes, mixed grip hangs, pinch grip holds. There's a bunch of different things there that is going to help enhance that I guess element of grip development. One thing that I'm pretty excited for and looking forward to, and I guess like from a CrossFit stance is very specific to CrossFit, is this the gymnastics, we're calling this gymnastics aggression. So think about chest to bars combos with wall walks and kind of a high capacity volume. That's the workout only, so learning how to move your body weight in space and time and get capacity within that. Isolating the gymnastics movements will improve your coordination, and then it won't kind of detriment it with a heavy barbell or something like that. So that is one of the key focuses throughout the cycle, and you typically see combinations of gymnastics, not just a solo gymnastics portion on that. So that's pretty exciting. Ring muscle up development, as I spoke about earlier. Thruster development, whether that's dumbbell thruster, heavy barbell thrusters, moderate to lightweight barbell thrusters for a longer duration or more repetitions. The CrossFit season at the start, it's thruster season. So now is the time to put your energy and efforts into getting that mechanics back into your tool belt. Max rep workouts. So think of styles like 1 minute max reps efforts, the workout fight gone bad, time on, time off, so maybe 3 minutes of work for an AMRAP, 1 minute off type thing, or even just AMRAP workouts, and just learning to kind of, I guess, increase the adaptation or the capacity whilst under fatigue of certain movements. Rope climb development, we just touched on that briefly. So specifically legless rope climbs, if you aren't that kind of advanced in towards the legless rope climbs, all this grip development training is going to help facilitate that. There is different portions. So if you're afraid of jumping into a training program where you're like, man, I couldn't even do that movement, there are layers within there that help you, guide you to the answer, and you don't necessarily have to do that full prescripted option. but to choose something that's going to help you get to that point. And again, if you want to be successful in CrossFit, especially as a competitor, it's something you have to develop, like it could be the difference of you making the next stage or really excelling at the next stage. And as a preface to go to the next, or segue to the next component, strict handstand push-ups is the exact same thing. I would say that in the past, kind of 50 reps was the marker, and now I would extend that out to about 90, even to 100 reps. And there's a big difference between reps 50 and even just reps from 50 to 75, albeit only 25 reps. Those get significantly harder, and they're much different to the first 50 achieved in the start of that. As we said, weightlifting is coming back, so we've got all our weightlifting training in there, and then CrossFit specific combination training. So expect couplets, triplets. We'll do work, high intensity. Think about anaerobic output, so very, very fast. We're going to rest enough in the period of time to then repeat and produce that same amount of work. The idea is to just get couplets, transitions happening, a little bit more cadence or movement speed between those movements as well. So again, from the kind of weekly macro view of this, it does go over the Christmas period. You can expect a little bit of a reduction in volume around Christmas and then the New Year period. And look, it just doesn't make sense in the first instance to have junk volume in a training program and probably have unrealistic expectations that somebody's going to be able to be in the gym for 2.5, 3 hours a day or more, especially over the summer season or wherever you are in the world, the holiday season. I don't think it's conducive to, just the mental impact of being able to achieve and tick your boxes on your programming. Does that mean that the programming is easy over that time period? Well, potentially not. You don't necessarily always have to do more work. It's about the intention or the purpose of the work that you are completing, and whether it requires high intensity or to skill-specific focus, or what some of those things look like. There will be some options for no equipment workouts and things like that. So if you're stressed out about hey, I want to be on this program, but man, I've got this 2-week period where I'm traveling, or it's a little bit funky, don't worry about it. It's tailored around that. You don't have to stress about being in the gym. You can go off program. You can do other things. You can do drop-ins wherever you're traveling. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all whether you have a successful training program or not. I think that becomes a big stressor for people, mainly athletes, over this time of the year. It's like, how am I going to get it in? What's coming up? And where's my placement for my workouts? So remove all that stress, remove all that pressure. There's still plenty of time, and movement is movement. Any movement is good movement, but over that time period, I think that we're only doing ourselves self-harm if we stress out about the work that we're not doing. So, as a programmer's stance, it's simple. We need a deload / a reduction of workload many times throughout the year. So this has been planned in place for you to allow you to get through that and still have a holiday season without too much stress about what you are achieving. From a day-to-day schedule or an outlook on that, on a Monday, hang position snatches. So remember we talked about strengthening posterior chain activation, maybe a little bit of grip development, explosiveness, shorter range of motion to create the pull, receiving positions. Back squat conditioning is on your Monday, and then followed by a traditional mekon, which will have anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes with low volume but high intensity running, mixed modal type workouts. Session number 2, perceived work, weakness work. So you're looking skills, ring muscle up development / capacity and or technical mastery. Some strength work, and this strength is specifically going to be the press, and the press more so to help and facilitate not just the overhead pressing mechanics, but also then transition to the strict handstand push-up, and then hinge mechanics, so specifically a deadlift. Excuse me. And then finally, you have a perceived option out of one of those 3 as engine or machine work. So if you need more strength, you take the strength route. You don't do the other 2 components. If you need more skill, you take the skill route. If you need more engine, you do the engine route. 80 to 85% of the program will look the same for everybody, but every other mechanical or element in between that might be a slight difference from person to person, but it's how we can account for volume or account for the reps that are being done, and not have to then go out and find an added back squat program and attach it to this and figure out my mapping of where I place it. There should be all the work that you need in here, and you get to choose your pathway to success. On a Tuesday, hang position cleans, plus you're going to do the jerks. We talked about the snatches, positional development, grip strength, explosive power, just learning new positions and then the mechanics of those things. And then we have our 4 max rep workout. So it's either learning to push hard on a single allotted amount of time or a longer duration AMRAP type situation. Session number 2 will have your rope climb development work. So really focusing on that. I think I want that to be one of the emphases of your program. So if you're a competitor and you're trying to map your pathway through, make sure that we're all over that one. And then you have mixed modal work or intervals. So thinking I'm collecting together gymnastics, monostructural components, weightlifting components, specifically through the CrossFit realm, and then I'm putting it all together in a myriad of time domains of different formats throughout up to about 20 minutes. Not saying that they're all 20 minutes per week, but that's kind of the governed time frame or allowance. And then finally, you have one of those optional run sessions on a Tuesday, with it being to the maximum of 30 minutes. And there's some more information about all of those run sessions and how they break down and what your kind of targets and focuses are. Wednesday, gymnastics aggression. So this is the thing that we talked about. I can give you an example workout off the top of my mind. 21, 18, 15, 12, 9, 6, 3 chest to bar. Actually, I don't even know. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 wall walks. So it's just strictly bodyweight movements. The capacity there, what's my type of breakdown? Am I trying to go unbroken? What's success look like to me? Do I go 3 sets chest to bars throughout? Do I keep smooth wall walks? Do I really punish the wall walks for speed and cadence? There's a few different pathways there. Because we've done the gymnastics aggression in that the first component of that first session, a barbell dominant conditioning piece follows that. So in CrossFit, it's probably the only sport where you will find a workout that might be 30 clean and jerks, 30 thrusters, 30 overhead squats, 30 snatches, 30 front squats, for lack of a better workout. It's a barbell dominant conditioning workout, and it's just something that we kind of need to always have in the tool belt. And then you'll supplement all that work with some bench press and pulling, so bench push-pull components there, but we are focusing on also developing that bench and barbell bench at that throughout percentages on a Wednesday. Session number 2 for a Wednesday, it's not a huge session, but it's one of the most grueling ones. So you've got your grunt work bike sessions. Look, I don't care. Every program stands the test of time when really strong intervals of some sort of machine pieces in there, at least once a week. It builds great adversity, it builds really good anaerobic output system, and then just mental fortitude, just to be able to repeat the things that are hard. So it's quite often funny, you might see a great rower perform a workout and people around them say, oh man, you're going to froth over this workout because it's got rowing in it and you're a great rower. It doesn't mean that they're going to enjoy it. They're just working harder than you and it hurts more. So kudos to those out there that are really putting in the effort on those machine type pieces. Following that, you'll have some more grip or odd object development. And then next up, you get to a rest day on a Thursday. But again, there's options here. Look, your training week might look different to someone else. Your start day might be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday. It doesn't really matter. But that day 4 kind of option is just our chance to recalibrate. You can either rest, perform a catch-up session, an aerobic session, so just something that's really going to be light with the flush, or a swim session. So just some context around the swimming. It's really good to get in there, just get some mobility in, some proprioception work, some light resistance, low impact work. It's going to improve your oxidative system or your aerobic energy system. It's all those good benefits as well. Friday we see our second squat session. So we have pause, back squats, and then to regular squats from there. That's going to be a constant throughout the cycle. So that's your second chance at looking at developing that leg strength throughout the week. And then we have a CrossFit combination builder. So as an example, you might get something like power snatches, bar facing burpees, toes to bar. 8 rounds, rest 1 minute in between, don't know what the reps are, but we're looking at transitions, we're looking at speed, we're looking at anaerobic threshold, some of it might even be glycolytic, but when it comes to a qualifier in that type of season, we need to have that speed or high octane in the tank. We can't just work at 20 minutes all the time and expect to have a 2-minute gas threshold. I would say, though, that I would prefer building a 20-minute gas tank each time because you can at least get through a 2-minute threshold versus if you are only a 2-minute workout threshold person, you could do the sprints. It's not necessarily going to translate over as well to the 20-minute components as it would the other way. Session number 2, we're going upper body, so push jerks and split jerks. So you got your weightlifting development here, and then your strict handstand push-up builder with supplementary work there. So highlight that as a day in your week that you really want to get under your tool belt and you really want to get the development in there. The strict handstand push-ups is the way to go. And then as per, we have an optional Fat Boys Club running. Look, you don't have to be a fat boy to do this. We've got these tees, actually. If you want to get a tee, just message through. We'll get you a Fat Boys tee. Fat Boys Club running, like it's just another added session. Trim the fat, as we say, or get another little bit of low impact conditioning in. Finally, you're on your Saturday before your rest day on Sunday and you repeat it all again. We have weightlifting, which we are going to be doing the snatches and the clean and jerks with the Metcon time frame that's going to be between 15 to 20 minutes. Now, typically in the CrossFit space, it's a long Metcon. That is generally where we're doing most of our Metcon times at the moment. Unless we're kind of pushing for anaerobic threshold output, we'll go down to that lower 1 minute to 90 second type outputs. Once completed, you'll have an odd object carry. So we're really looking at, introducing and developing those kettlebells, slam balls, dead balls, sandbags, farmers, axle bars, all of these types of things is what you'll typically see here. And then finally, if you're up for it on a session 2 on the weekend, weakness perceived work, you're going to do another squat session, front squat being the squat pattern this time, a running interval work, and then or a grip development session, or one of 2 of those things. So yeah, in essence, that is the upcoming training cycle, the general cycle. It's going from December 9th all the way to February the 2nd. It'll be our preparation to the CrossFit season. It's getting a little bit more gas into the tank. In summary, you won't have to stress so much over the Christmas period. There will be options, but look, if training's not there for you because of your logistics, so be it. It's fine. Don't stress about it. When you get back to it in the new year, just make sure that you're ready and prepared to put your best foot forward. And that's the general cycle. We'll see you soon.